The hour is late on the planet. We already see dangerous changes in the Arctic, bleached coral reefs, and more extreme weather events. And we know that all countries need to step up their efforts for us to have a chance to reach the ambition in the Paris Agreement. But you don't get well just because you know you are sick. We need medicine. We need concrete solutions. My name is Svante Axelsson. I am a national coordinator of Fossil Free Sweden, which is a government initiative to accelerate the Swedish transition into fossil-free solutions. Sweden is determined to become the first fossil-free welfare nation in the world. Why? It's not just because we have to do it. We have decided to do this because it creates jobs, stimulates green growth, and generates money to the welfare system. And we're also rather confident that we can realize this vision because of our history. We have reduced CO2 emissions before. We have not made the whole journey, but we have taken some important steps to shift to a low-carbon economy. And so far, no one can say it has been painful for us. Economy doesn't seem to be suffering. In 1991, Sweden introduced the first carbon tax in the world, and that created strong incentives for renewable energy solutions, especially in the heating sector, that is almost fossil-free today, along with the electricity sector. Today the challenge is to phase out fossil fuels from the transport sector. Unfortunately, the solutions are already on the table. Electric cars are already here, and together with biofuels, the sector could be fossil-free very fast. The transformation of our industry is a huge challenge. But even here, Sweden's historical experience is a great benefit. The earlier structural transformations, such as rapid decline of the shipyard industry in the 1970s, has generated a lot of trust among the population. People in different parts of Sweden know that if some companies goes out of business, others will come. And if they lose their jobs, the government will support the transition to new employments. We have done it before, but not with this speed and this scale. That's a big difference. What we need is a new perspective. In the UN climate negotiation process, they still talk about cost sharing and how painful the transition could be. There is still more fear of social changes than climate change. But now we can see a dramatic mind shift among the business leaders. And many of them see possibilities of being fossil-free and now create new business opportunities. And therefore many companies now are in a hurry to transform, because they have realized that they will not be part of the market 2035 if they aren't fossil-free. And that's why now they put a pressure on the government to take important decisions much faster. Suddenly, climate policy has turned into business policy. The right conditions are on the table. The Paris Agreement was a milestone, and it's a game changer for the new green market. New technical solutions are here, and the price has declined very fast in the last 10 years. Solar energy is 90% cheaper. Wind power is down 70%, and even offshore wind is now becoming cost competitive. And batteries are 85% cheaper, and at the same time, the effect has doubled. After the progress in Paris in 2015, Sweden introduced the climate law and decided to have net zero emissions by 2045. To support this transition, I was appointed national coordinator for Fossil Free Sweden, which is a network of companies and local municipalities. Fossil Free Sweden is financed by the government, but we have an independent role to build bridges and facilitate interactions between the state and private sector. We often say it takes two to tango, and that's true. Politicians need support from the industry and the public opinion so they dare to take strong decisions. And the industries need support from the politicians so they can reduce obstacles and reduce risks for the investors. But that's not enough. For a small country with an open economy like Sweden, to be able to become the first fossil-free welfare nation, we need another dance. More like square dance, where different stakeholders like municipalities, unions, environmental movements and consumers all together work for the same vision. And we also need other countries to join in. Our most important initiative so far is that 22 different industrial sectors, voluntary and in cooperation with Fossil Free Sweden, have produced roadmaps for fossil-free competitiveness. These roadmaps have been developed through their own sectorial bottom-up process, where they show how they can manage to increase the competitiveness by being fossil-free, if they got the right conditions from the state. As an independent institution, Fossil Free Sweden facilitated the process, provided input and ideas, and helped industries communicate the stories. These 22 stories that show how Sweden can increase our welfare by being fossil-free has had a major impact on the climate debate in Sweden and making industry a driver for transition. The results from the roadmaps are impressive. The domestic aviation plans to be fossil-free 2030. The construction sector will reduce their emissions by 50% in 2030. And that's even without using carbon capture and storage, that the cement industry is planning for by 2030. The mines that are so important for the production of batteries are going to be fossil-free by 2035. The electrification in the transport sector is proceeding very fast. In 2030, the producers will deliver 80% electric cars and 50% electric trucks. The agriculture sector will be fossil-free by 2030. The same year gates and heating sector fossil-free by the food retail sector. So, today we have the 22 roadmaps that cover about 70% of the Swedish emissions. But it will not be easy to implement them. We have plenty of challenges and obstacles to overcome. We need much faster permit examinations if we want to reach the target before 2045. And the state and EU must become stronger enablers by reducing risks in different ways. But even if industry needs a lot of investments, there is one important perspective that makes the transition easier. Even if the production of fossil-free raw material will be much more expensive than other raw material, the cost for the consumer becomes negligible. That correlation really surprised me. For example, if the green steel is 25% more expensive than steel produced in the conventional way, the cost of the car will still only increase by approximately the cost of 2 extra tires, as the steel cost is just a small part of the total production cost. And if climate-neutral cement is 70% more expensive, the cost of the building will increase by no more than 0.5%. We can now see that many companies have signed up for science-based targets. In this way, they show other companies that they are willing to pay for fossil-free solutions, even if we don't have this global carbon tax. This new playfield creates new business ideas. The Swedish industry is developing technologies that can lead to big global emissions reductions if they are scaled up and spread over the world. For example, fossil-free iron and steel is being developed in northern Sweden by using hydrogen instead of coal. One of the first biggest gigafactories in Europe is getting ready to produce batteries for electric vehicles with a focus on recycling. Carbon capture and storage is not only being implemented in cement production, but also on district heating that is already used in biofuels. The result will generate negative emissions. Biorefineries are being built to deliver fuel to transport sector, both for road transport, for the maritime sector and aviation. Electric heavy trucks are all ready for sale, and circular solutions for both textile and plastics are being developed. All over the country, new fossil-free industrial projects that we could hardly imagine a couple of years ago are popping up. The green industrial revolution is here. But the most important export product from Sweden is perhaps that we can show other countries that you can also improve your welfare by being fossil-free, not the opposite. When more countries realize the correlation, perhaps we will see a race out of the fossil area, a race that we can win together. That's my hope.